Now the Spirit of the Lord is the one that speaks through me. Before my mother's womb, he ordained and knew me, ransomed me, and placed his words upon my tongue. Few are chosen, rest assured that I am one, an ambassador for Christ, his beloved son. And by his word, let souls be one. So welcome everyone to this listening party. Sit back and let your souls be hearty. Celebrate with me the gift that God has imparted. And what better way to get this party started than to give him the stage, because he knows where your heart is. Holy Spirit, you are welcome in this place. Give me the boldness to look upon each face and speak every word that you've given me to say. With no fear, I speak truth. I won't deviate, and I'm confident that all will go great. So let your presence saturate this place. I breathe in your spirit, I intake a river full of life, water in every dry place. As I flow to the notes that heaven navigates, let it bless every listener and free them today. Let the truth of your word draw souls to be saved. Let the comforter comfort hearts today, and let the light of your word show them the way. Every time I write, I tell his story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. He opens up to me and shows me his glory. He gives me the strength to keep on soaring, and when I open up my mouth for him, I'm roaring. And the Spirit of the Lord goes before me, to the captive set free. That's reassuring. Over the years he strengthened my inner core, and every day I wake up just seeking him for this. In my spirit I'm sure I am in Christ, and my Father I adore. He redeemed me from destruction, I am his ambassador. As the world turns and open up the door, I step in with purpose to win souls for the Lord. Every time I arrive, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell a story as I bask in the truth of his word before me. Every time I write, I tell the story as I bask in the truth of his word before me.
Hey, gang, welcome to Tom the Bomb Sports Talk, the fastest growing show in the world. It's Monday, September 29th, and this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. If you don't think it's a great day, just try missing one. And we, LOVE, love sports and the Word of God on the Tom the Bomb Show. And yes, we are live on Facebook. Our contact number here is 301-655-9992. And you can catch all replays immediately after the live show on YouTube at Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. You can also contact us by email at info@tomthebombsports.com. That's info@tomthebombsports.com. And of course, you can always visit our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. Hey, gang, we'd like to personally thank you all for your prayers and your support. We hear you loud and clear, and for everyone that have reached out wanting to contribute to the show and our ministry, okay, we sincerely thank you. With that, we appreciate your patronage, and you can bless us to keep creating content and spreading the word of God. Our business cash app is hashtag $ Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. That's $ Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. We sincerely thank you, and may God bless you 100-fold return on the seeds that you've sown into our ministry at the Tom the Bomb Show. Both I and Dr. Lauren both greatly appreciate it. As usual, we want to start off by thanking God for all the wonderful things that he's already done in 2025. And of course, our theme for 2025 is still living in the grace realm. And our foundational scripture for 2025 is found in 2 Corinthians 9 and 8, and that's the Passion Translation. And it says, yes, like a command, yes, God is more than ready to overwhelm you with every form of grace so that you will have more than enough of everything, every moment, and in every way. He will make you overflow with abundance in every good thing that you do. Real quick, I just want you to pay attention to how often he says, well, everything and all. What's left out? What's left out of everything and all? Nothing. It's all there. It's all right there for you. Hey, gang, we do want to talk about the VCCI free food for our 50 families and designated zip codes and the dates along with the QR codes. You have to scan to sign up. We're looking to get up to 100 families, and it's the third Saturday of each month at 11 a.m. And the location is 7 Metropolitan Court, Gaithersburg, Maryland, at 20878. And it's open to the residents of the following zip codes: 20878, it's in Gaithersburg, 20877, 20879, 20855, and 20882. It's first come, first served while supplies last. Like I said, just scan the QR code to register. Once the register, we do have on-site registration available for all participants, but you still have to complete the registration form to be involved. Okay, amen. Thank you for that. Hey, we got trivia today. Our trivia question today is, as you can see, this is today is definitely a Ryder Cup day. So our trivia today is Ryder Cup. So what player has scored the most points in Ryder Cup history? What player has scored the most points in Ryder Cup history? That's our trivia question for today. See, Tom the Bomb's wearing his Ryder Cup shirt. Yep. Oh, there we go. We also got a poll question for you guys. And our poll question, well, first of all, let's get to last week's poll question. Last week's poll question was, who should be the American League MVP? Aaron Judge or Cal the Big Dumper Riley? And you guys think it's Aaron Judge, okay? Aaron Judge, like I said, he's having a triple crown kind of year. He's won the batting title. He's got 53, 54 dingers, over 100 RBIs. But Tom the Bomb still think it should be Cal Big Dumper Riley. You're talking about a catcher that's probably going to hit 60 home runs. That's something that we've never seen before. Not from the catching position. It's a defensive position. So any kind of offense that you get from a catcher is a bonus. If your catcher hits 250 and hits 20 dingers, that's an all-star. That's an all-star. Well, the big dumper has well exceeded that. So on top of having his defensive skills. But hey, you guys say Aaron Judge, and Tom DeBomb thinks it should be the big dumper. So we'll see. The awards will be coming up. And we're going to talk a little baseball a little bit later as well. So let's get to our poll question for today. I told you guys that it's the Ryder Cup day. So our poll question for the day is, should the envelope rule be changed for future Ryder Cups? Should the envelope rule be changed for future Ryder Cups? And for you guys out there who don't have any clue what I'm talking about, the envelope rule, what are you talking about? Well, before the Ryder Cup begins, each captain puts one name in an envelope and they exchange it just in case a player gets injured. And if a player gets injured, then the injured player is going to have to sit out. But then whatever player name is in that envelope on the other team, they have to sit out. And then what they do is they split that point. So each singles match is worth 1 point. So with those two players sitting out, the US would get a half point and Europe would get a half point. So that's the envelope rule. And it actually came into play, because Europe needed every single point, every little scrap of a point, and Victor Hovland not being able to play gave the Europeans a half point. So all they really needed was 2 points going into Sunday. So, and then the US said, you know what? Let's just jump into it. We're talking Ryder Cup anyway. Let's just jump. Let's get to it, Tom the Bomb. All right, look, the 45th Ryder Cup was off the chain. Europe wins the Ryder Cup, defeating the US at Bethpage Black, ending a wild weekend, and probably the most exciting and entertaining Ryder Cup in years. Okay, Team Europe fought off a furious USA comeback that would have been a historic victory. Europe managed to hold on, winning 15-13 after going into the final day single matches up by 7 points, the biggest lead in Ryder Cup history since 1979. This was some of the best team golf I think that has ever been played in the Ryder Cup. Surely the best I've seen. Europe has now won 11 out of the last 15 Ryder Cups. So, like I told you guys last week, I didn't have to be Nostradamus to pick Europe over the US team. My golfing buddies felt like I was rooting and pulling for Team Europe. I tried to explain that Tom the Bomb has to give it to you straight, not with my heart, but with my head. Like I said last week, I was rooting hard for the US team, but the math wasn't mathing. Say that again, Tom the Bomb. The math wasn't mathing, okay? What do you mean, Tom the Bomb? The Ryder Cup plays out the same way almost every year. Team USA falls behind on day 1 and day 2 in the alternate shot and 4-ball format where they're just simply better than Team USA in that format. In America, golf is not a team sport. In America, it's an individual sport. So like it's an individual sport like tennis is, okay? But in Europe, golf is a team sport. And they're brought up in their junior programs playing these team formats. In America, you're on your own. You're on your belly. You sink or swim, bro. So Europe dominates the first 2 days and they get off to these huge, huge leads. And then Team USA, who are always stronger individual single players, have to play heroic to get back into the game, playing catch up every single year. I mean, it's the same old line. Uh, the bottom line is the Ryder Cup is more important to Europe than it is to the United States. So, it's, that's the bottom line. If we can just cut to the chase, the bottom line, the Ryder Cup is more important to Europe than it is to the United States. Captain Luke Donald said in his own speech, there was a big stink about this year. The U.S. players actually got paid to play in the Ryder Cup for the first time. 300, $500,000, 300 to be donated to the charity of their choice, and then they get a 200,000 stipend. Somebody give me a $200,000 stipend for 3 days, please. Let me. And Captain Luke Donald of Europe was like, "We're not in this for the money. Okay, we're not in this for the money. We're here to represent Europe." And it's almost a cultural thing where it seems like the Euros are bred to be together, and Team USA is bred to be lone wolves. It's why a Tiger Woods, a Phil Mickelson, a Scotty Scheffler don't have good Ryder Cup records. And a Seve Ballesteros, a Nick Faldo, a Rory McIlroy, the sacrificial lamb, they strive and they have great Ryder Cup records. A reporter once asked Tiger Woods if he knew what his Ryder Cup record was. Woods' response was, "Can you tell me what Jack Nicklaus' Ryder Cup record was?" No, because nobody really cares. Ask me how many majors Jack has. Ask me how many majors I have, basically, is what Tiger was saying. We don't care about the Ryder Cup like that. We care about majors, okay? So Team Europe has this Ryder Cup down to a science. Starting with their captain's pick, Europe has a mastermind in Luke Donald at the helm. The US had Keegan Bradley, and I'm being nice here, trying to be politically correct, a novice at best, playing checkers while Luke Donald was playing chess. Keegan Keegan had no business being the captain of Team USA. Okay. I told you guys, Keegan being named captain of the USA was a makeup call. Okay. In 2023 in Rome, Keegan earned his way on the team, and the politics came into play, and they snubbed Keegan. And then this golf program, Golf Swing that they have on Netflix, they did all that stuff live, and they called him up live on Netflix and told him you didn't make the team. And Keegan gave the yearbook answer. He was disappointed. Of course, he was disappointed, but he gave the yearbook answer. I'll be rooting hard. Do you know I didn't get picked? I'll be rooting hard for the U.S. And that really drove his stock up. And then the PGA of America, they really kind of felt bad. So what they said was, you know what we'll do? We'll make Keegan the president for we'll make him the captain for the next Ryder Cup. Which is really, like I mentioned earlier, was like a backhand compliment, because what they were saying in 2023 was, well, you're not good enough to make it on your own merit. So we'll go ahead and name you captain. And then Keegan goes out and performs, and he should have been on this team as a player, not a captain. So it's all okay. All right, get off your soapbox, Tom. let me just say it like this. Keegan Bradley, he would have been a much better served as a player this year. I'm really going to try my best to not talk politics and keep this about sports. But I got to say, Tom Watson, a USA golfing legend, says Team USA made a mistake in 2008 when they stopped picking the first 10 players on points earned and then allowing the captains to only have two captain picks instead of six captain picks. This takes the politics out of putting the team together. Instead of just having the best players on their own merits, the pairings of the matches in the alternate shot and the four ball format is crucial. And Team USA lost the 45th Ryder Cup right there with Captain Keegan Bradley sending Colin Morikawa and Russell Henley out. Not once, but twice on Friday and Saturday against Team Europe's juggernaut, Fleetwood Mac. I love that, the nickname Fleetwood Mac, Tommy Fleetwood and Rory McIlroy, getting shut out on both days in the yeah, in the playoffs, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, whether it's baseball, whether it's soccer, I don't care what the sport is. In the playoffs, your stars have to play like stars. Team Europe stars showed up big time. Did anyone see world number one Scotty Scheffler? Did anybody see him this weekend? Did he even go to the Ryder Cup? Did you guys watch? Was Scotty Scheffler there? It's debatable. Technically, yes, he was there. Or let me say it like this: he was there in body, but I don't know about spirit. And for sure, his game wasn't there. Rory, Rory was huge. Rory McIlroy was huge. John Rahm was huge. Look, remember we talked about the pairings? Does anybody want to look me in the face now and tell me that John Rahm is the 73rd best player in the world? Oh man, that is so ridiculous, man. This live PGA thing is still bothering me, man. It's like that John Rahm is the 73rd ranked player in the world. Are you kidding me? If you watch the Ryder Cup, he looked like the best player in the world, not number 73. And you know what? I said I was going to keep politics out of this, but let me just say, just going to say this. Everybody on the PGA tour should be kissing those guys' backside that went to the Live Tour, because now the PGA Tour players are getting paid like they never got paid before, and they just got paid to be in the Ryder Cup. That never happens if these guys don't go to Live. They're still crucifying Phil Mickelson for going to Live and leaving the PGA Tour. Listen to me. Phil Mickelson was 51 years old, and they came to him and offered him $200 million at 51 years of age. You have to be outside your mind not to take that money. And they got the nerve to be talking bad about Phil Mickelson. But let's get back to the Ryder Cup. All right. John Rahm was huge. Tommy Fleetwood was huge. Shane Lowry was huge. Okay, let's talk about this in the pre-Ryder Cup buildup. I heard a couple of programs talk. Yeah, we got to talk about this. Okay, I heard a couple of programs talking about how the New York crowd was going to try to be part of Team USA winning, injecting themselves to the point where they were going to affect the outcome by any means necessary. Listen to what I'm saying. By any means necessary. Well, look, here on the Tom the Bomb Show, it's a sports show from a Christian point of view. Our theme for the whole show is, do you want to win at all costs? Because sometimes you lose, but you win. And sometimes you win, but you lose. So, how we win and lose in life truly matters. The New York crowd, thinking they were assisting Team USA with their boorish behavior, in actuality, assisted Team Europe in their domination over America in the first 2 days. It actually reminded me of how Spike Lee and the Garden crowd motivated Reggie Miller to kill the Knicks in the Garden with their similar behavior. It got so bad that Rory McIlroy literally stopped his swing, turned to the crowd, and yelled, "Shut the F up." Uh, the abuse that went forward was unbelievable. They hit Rory McIlroy's wife in the head with a beer. Oh man, it was bad. Tom Watson also came out and said this is unacceptable. What happened to golf is supposed to be a gentlemanly game. It's like they're turning the Ryder Cup into the Phoenix Open, okay, which I don't like that either, but it is what it is. Look, yeah, yes, yes. Root for the USA. Root for your team. But it should never get personal. And even if it does get personal, you can't do that in golf while a player is about to hit his shot. Rory was like, Yell, call me whatever you want. But once I get into my pre-shot routine, you gotta be quiet. You gotta calm down. It's totally out of control. Uh, Johnny Miller wrote a book 25 years ago, 25 years ago, talking about this exact same thing. And here it is, 25 years later, and it's like the song Marvin Gaye, "What's Going On?" Man, you would think that song was written today because it's relevant today, even though it was written 30 or 40 years ago. It's totally out of control. I have no doubt that it seriously, seriously motivated Team Europe to play harder and even better. So on day two, Team USA played great. They played fabulous with 16 birdies, but Team Europe was off the charts. They had 34 birdies on that day. Going into the Sunday single match, Europe only needed 2.5 points to retain the cup out of a possible 12 points up for grabs. And that's when a New York state of mind kicked in and showed up. Team USA needed to win 10 out of 11 matches to win the cup, and they almost pulled off the greatest comeback of all time. They played brilliant in the singles matches, which is Team USA's strength, but no one thought that that was possible, and they only lost one match all day and won a Ryder Cup record 8.5 points on the last day to make it respectable 15-13 loss. Now, if you watch the pregame, a lot of people think that, well, it was a close Ryder Cup. Listen, I just told you going into the last day, Europe needed 2.5 points to win. Europe spanked the US bottom. They took them to the woodshed. Uh, what they did on the last day had never been done before. So that was heroic. If you have to make a heroic comeback, then the game really wasn't close. You just made a great comeback, which is what like I said, 8.5 points on the last day. That had never been done before. To win 10 out of 11 matches, that never had been done before. But I'm gonna tell you, it made for great excitement and theater on the last day, to the point that Tom the Bob kicked the NFL to the curb on Sunday to watch the Ryder Cup, the USA's mad dash to the finish. I love it. If they didn't pack it in, and I love it that the U.S. team, that they didn't pack it in and quit, which would have been easy to do. I've seen U.S. Ryder Cup teams do that before, but this squad and Captain Keegan Bradley get some credit for that. So I'd like to wrap this segment up with giving out my grades for the 45th Ryder Cup at Bethpage Black. So let's start off with our A pluses. Let's start off with our A students. Got to start right at the top with Captain Luke Donald A plus. Man, this guy, and here's the thing. Luke Donald's from Europe. He lives in Chicago. He went to a Midwestern school. These guys come over from Europe. They go to college in the United States. They learn the game here. They move here. They live here, and they're playing for Europe, but they know everything they need to know about how to handle the U.S. team. Luke Donald was brilliant. A plus, not even close. Our next A plus goes to the sacrificial lamb, Rory McIlroy. A plus. Now, you guys, if you guys have watched the show in the past, you guys know that Tom the Bomb has kind of been hard on the sacrificial lamb, Rory McIlroy. But the abuse that they threw on that guy, it was terrible. It was totally uncalled for. And Rory, Rory was a real class act, and he leveled up his game. They totally motivated that guy to play better. Because after he turned and told the crowd to shut the F up, he turned around and threw a dart into the green. Man, that's not what you want to do, man. You don't want to get these players mad like that. A plus for Rory McIlroy. Justin Rose, Rosie, A plus. At one point, Justin Rose made 8 birdies in 16 holes. Listen to what I just said. 8 birdies in 16 holes. A plus for Justin Rose. John Rambo Rahm, John Rahm, A plus. Do you still think he's the 73rd best player in the world? I don't think so. Shane, Big Boy Laurie, A plus. I knew this big boy was going to be a problem, man. When it came down to the winning cup, man, Russell Henley had a chance to win it twice. Well, he had a chance to close him out on with a birdie on 17 and had a chance to close him out with a birdie on 18. But I know Shane Lowry wasn't going away. And man, that shot he threw in on 18 to make that birdie to split and get that game-winning point to give the cup back to Europe. A plus Shane Riley. I love it, man. Way to bring it, man. Matthew Fitzpatrick, A plus. Matthew fooled me. He had a 1-7 Ryder Cup record coming into this Ryder Cup. As a matter of fact, last week, Tom the Bomb told you, I said this was the guy I thought the U.S. should have picked on. Wrong, wrong. Matthew Fitzpatrick was razor sharp. The more I watch his game, he reminds me of miniature Rory McIlroy, who's just not as long as Rory, but he's got a better short game than Rory. So A plus, Matthew Fitzpatrick. Tommy Fleetwood. Tom the Bomb, as you guys know, Tom the Bomb's been a big fan of Tommy Fleetwood from day one when he couldn't win nothing. Tommy Fleetwood, A plus. Once, I told you guys, we talked about this. Once he finally broke through and got his first initial win, it's a tsunami now. This, 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 it's Katie bought a door. This guy is a rolling tsunami now. This guy rolled through the U.S. team. A plus, Tommy Fleetwood, great play. Terrell Hatton, A plus. And you guys think the live players can't play? Come on now. John Rahm, Terrell Hatton, those guys are from the live tour. You guys think that the live players can't play? You you don't know what you're talking about if you think that. A plus for Terrell Hatton. Robert Bobby McIntyre, A plus. This is the next European world #1 golfer. This guy is mean. This guy's nasty, and he's got game and attitude to match. You watch what I'm telling you. Robert McIntyre. This is the next European superstar. A plus for Rob McIntyre. That's A plus. Cameron Young. Hey, we finally got a U.S. player with an A plus. Cameron Young, A plus, holds the course record at Bethpage back, and Captain Keegan Bradley set him out twice in the morning matches. How are you going to sit a guy down and he holds the course record to where you're playing? You know, as a golfer, and for my fellow golfers out there, you guys know that certain courses just fit your eye. You know, it's like before you get there, you can see the holes in your mind. You know you're gonna play well because this course just fits your eye. Consequently, there's golf courses that you know, like for example, Gunpowder. I know I'm gonna play bad at Gunpowder before I get there. that, that course doesn't fit my eye. When I play well, I still don't like that golf course. But the point being is certain golf courses, they just fit your eye, they fit your shape shot, and you know you're going to play well there. Bethpage Black, yeah, Cameron Young golf game was made for Bethpage Black, and Captain Keegan Bradley sit this guy out. Cameron Young was a top point winner for the U.S. team. Enough said. A plus, Cameron Young. Good job, Cam. JJ Spawn, A plus. He hasn't realized how good he is. That's JJ Spawn is a guy who has he battles with some mental things. You know, I don't think he really thinks too highly of himself, and he just doesn't realize how good he is. But once he's starting to get the win at the U.S. Open, the way he played at the Ryder Cup, he's almost to me, he's almost the equivalent of Tommy Fleetwood. It's like once the gates are open, you could possibly look for a tsunami coming from JJ Spot. A plus for JJ Spot. Bryson DeChambeau, A plus, A plus. Bryson played hard. Another live player, another live player. Bryson played hard. Bryson was the heart and soul of the U.S. team. He didn't win as many points as we would have liked to have seen him, but his effort, his attitude, and his heart and his soul. Bryson was 5 shots down in his single Sunday match and came back to tie that match. That was absolutely brilliant. The best effort of the week, I think. Victor Hovland, B plus, B minus. He got hurt and he sit out, and I think that stopped him from possibly getting the A because Victor Hovland can play, man. The Europeans they just really outplayed the U.S. team. They really did. Rasmus Hogart, B plus, only because he's only played in the single matches. He only played that one round. Sepp Straka, B plus, B minus. Tremendous putter of the golf ball, man. Man, the Europeans really putted well in this tournament. They always do. Professional. I tell you, you guys, if you guys watch the Tom Bob say, listen, especially when you start talking about professional golf, professional golfing is always about putting. There's that saying, you drive for show and you putt for dough. Man, there's nowhere more where that's apropos on the PGA Tour or in professional golf. All of these guys can hit it off the tee. All of these guys can hit their irons. All of these guys have short game. You got to be able to get the ball in the hole. And Europe always outputs the United States in the Ryder Cup, and that's why they win. That along with the format. Ludwig Oberg, B plus, the second best young player in Europe. He's coming. He's the second best young player, right behind Bobby McIntyre. Justin Thomas, B plus. Justin brought it at the end when they needed him. Okay, he's a little bit over the top, rah rah. He's almost in that category for me, like Rory, but he brought it. B plus for Justin. Xander Schauffele, B minus, B minus, C plus. His putter let him down. If he putted well, the U.S. wins the Ryder Cup. That's the bottom line. If Xander Schauffele had putted better, the U.S. would have won the Ryder Cup. He didn't putt well. Patrick Cantlay, C plus. C plus, B minus. Proven, steady, experienced hand. He kind of has the right demeanor for the Ryder Cup. That's why I like seeing him on the Ryder Cup. Ben Griffiths, C minus. Ryder Cup rookie. Not enough chances. You can't judge him. Sam Burns, D minus, D plus, solid for a Ryder Cup rookie. Like I said, he didn't really get enough chances, but Sam Burns is the number one putter on the PGA Tour, so I could see him being on this team because that's what you really got to have. You got to have putters. Harris English breakfast number 14, D plus. He shouldn't even been on this team. I'm sorry, he shouldn't even been on this team. I think Maverick McNeely should have been on this team instead of Harris English, but that's when the politics come in. That's when the captain having 6 picks when they really should only have 2 picks. Russell Henley, F. Overall, he had a horrible Ryder Cup, but according to the world rankings, Russell Henley is the number 3 player in the world. Yeah, right, right. Yeah, right, right. And so is Tom the Bomb. Overall, he had a terrible Ryder Cup, but he was a rookie. I can overlook a lot of what he did. He had 2 putts to win for the U.S. and he missed them both on 17 and 18. I can give him that as a rookie pressure. Colin Morikawa, F minus. Never should have been on this team. He came into this match, this Ryder Cup, with horrible, horrible, horrible putting stats, and it showed up in every match. He and Xander Schauffele putted the worst of anybody on the U.S. teams. Uh, Colin is a great, great iron player, but like I said, if you can't get the ball in the hole, it doesn't do any good if you knock it inside of 10 feet and you can't make the putt. Does no good. Colin should have never been on this team. Horrible putting. Keegan Bradley, F minus. When he left himself off the Ryder Cup team, he weakened it. And overall, he made terrible captain decisions from the pairings to the course setup, uh, uh, down to his captain selections. The only thing I saw him do good was pick Cameron Young as a captain's pick. That's the only thing I saw him do good. He weakened this team by not being on it as a player. He should have never, ever, 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 ever been captain of this Ryder Cup team. Not ever, but he should have been on it as a player. Last, Scotty Scheffler, F minus. F minus. I want to say F plus, but Dr. Lawrence says a F minus is a lower grade than an F plus. So we're giving Scotty an F minus. Now, Tom the Bomb is a huge, huge, huge Scotty Scheffler fan, but he was, in the words of that great poet Charles Barkley, he was terrible. He was terrible. He was terrible. The best individual golfer in the world, maybe one of the worst team golfers. He reminds me of free throw shooting. Free throw shooting? What are you talking about? Look, look. When I was back in school, in high school, our coach used to get on us because he wanted us to shoot, have a better shooting percentage. Now, Tom the Bomb shot 88% from the free throw line when I was in school. So we would get in practice, and our coach would say, whoever makes the most free throws, we're going to give them a money. And I would make 8 or 9 out of 10, like I always do. But guys who shot 65% during the season, they'd make 10 out of 10 in practice. That's Scotty Scheffler in the Ryder Cup. I don't need you to be 10 out of 10 in practice. I need you to be 10 out of 10 in the game. You remind me of missed free throw shooting. Uh, but look, it's a different kind of pressure. And Scotty has proven he can't handle it. Last year, in 2023, he was crying. The biggest disappointment of the whole tournament. The USA lost because of him. Period. Period. I don't care what anybody says. They lost because of him. He should personally apologize to everyone on the USA team, especially Keegan Bradley. Come on, man. You're the number one player in the world, and you only get 1 point. All right. Hey, guys, let's get to our MLB update before we take a break here. And Okay, so and we're going to talk baseball a little bit later next week. But I do need to let you guys know that the playoffs is actually starting, and the Ryder Cup, the playoffs is actually starting. The playoffs kick off on Wednesday, but tomorrow, Tuesday, is the wild card playoffs. So we got the Tigers versus the Guardians, the Cleveland Guardians, at 1 p.m. We got the San Diego Padres at the Cubs at 3 p.m. And then we got the Boston Red Sox against the Yankees at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then we have the Cincinnati Reds going against the LA Dodgers at 9 p.m. That's all happening tomorrow for the wild card playoffs. And then the actual real playoffs will actually kick off on Wednesday. Okay, guys, let's take a commercial break. And then we'll be back with 5 good country minutes with my main man, Mr. Felix Bassi. We'll be right back.
Window Nation is on the Morgan's home turf to huddle up about replacing their drafty old windows.
This free estimate is showing how easy it is to tackle the problem.
We can get any of these windows custom made.
Yes, you can get the quality and style you really want.
And at a more affordable price than they ever imagined.
Now that they've sealed the deal, they'll be saving money year-round.
We're really confident with Window Nation.
Get your free estimate today and get 60% off all windows plus no interest or payments for 24 months at getwindownation.com.
Sheltered by the Sea of Cortez, Danzante Bay is a pure and peaceful oasis, an uncrowded retreat where your options are as vast as your views. If you're seeking a vacation that defines luxury and the true relaxation, look no further than Villa del Palmar at the islands of Loreto. A splendor of true Mexican hospitality effortlessly blends with rich materials and satiable comforts to bring guests the ideal home away from home experience. With its quiet beaches, scenic vistas, rich history, and an astounding surrounding natural habitat, you'll feel as though you've been swept off to paradise. Not to be outdone, Reese Jones has crafted TPC Danzante Bay, a brilliant, multi-themed 18-hole golf course that runs over and through valleys, arroyos, dunes, and foothills. From every angle, striking images of the islands of Loreto and the surrounding mountain range take your breath away, while the challenging yet rewarding Baja Golf Course beckons you to return for more. It is an honor and my pleasure to welcome you to the world's most beautiful sunset and so much more.
And we're back. Okay, let's jump into week 4 in the NFL. Now let's get our tallies up. Okay, in week 3, Tom the Bomb what was Tom the Bomb in week 3?
11 of 16.
Tom the Bomb was 11. No, how many?
11 of 16, which includes the Ravens game.
Okay, so
So that one-
how many losses? If 11 minus 16.
You got 11 out of 16 right.
Okay, and how did Felix do in week 3?
He got 9 of 16 right.
9 of 16. Okay, and
Correct.
okay, week 4. What was Tom the Bomb in week 4?
Week 4 and the games to date, because we've got 2 Monday night games tonight.
Okay.
So you are only 5 of 14 games.
Whoa,
And
5 and 14?
you got 5 of 14
Woohoo.
games right.
Ooh, I took a
And,
whooping.
and Felix got 8 of 14 games right.
Man, Felix,
Those are
that tells you this
winning
NFL is like week to week, man, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, listen. I know neither one of us had the Giants over the Chargers. I can guarantee that.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. We'll go
Yeah, well, let's do it.
before you miss.
Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into it. Like you said, we got Monday Night Football. Let's start off with that with the Lions and the Ravens from last week. The Lions won 38-30 over the Ravens, and man, the Lions looked good in that one.
And Felix picked him.
And Felix, that's right. And Felix, you had the Lions, and Tom and Bob had the Ravens. Man, I don't know. Well, we'll get in there, man. I don't know what to make about these Ravens. Let's talk about them a little bit later when we get to. Let's get on to week 4. Okay, we had the Seahawks 23 versus the Cardinals 20 on Thursday night. Tom and Bob had the Seahawks in this one.
So does Felix.
What was your take on this one, Felix?
So that was a game in which the Cardinals could have actually won. Now, the thing was, yes, the Seahawks were the better team. Yes, they played a better game. And yes, they played with fewer mistakes. But the fact of the matter is, if the Cardinals play the exact same game that they played, the Seahawks played the exact same game they played, and the Cardinals did what they did, minus really one of 2 major mistakes, just one of those 2 major mistakes, that game has a completely different outcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. All right, let's move on. Our next game was the Vikings. This was the game overseas. The Vikings versus the Steelers. The Steelers won 24-21. Tom the Bomb had the Vikings. Felix, you had the Steelers. What did you see in this that made you go with the Steelers in this game, Felix?
First off, I looked at this game. I knew that the offense was not going to win it for either team. And I looked at Carson Wentz. Basically, this game was the story of his career. What a lot of people don't realize, Carson Wentz had a monster game, 350 yards passing. But what was the problem? 2 key interceptions that turned the tide. And it goes back to what happened in Washington. The few games he started for us in 2022, yes, he did have the passing stats, but what were the circumstances around it? Same thing with this time in Philly, Indianapolis. So the fact of the matter is, yes, I knew that the Steelers team, they were in a situation where Rodgers, he's nothing flashy, but he was ready. Wentz, quite frankly, those 2 interceptions showed that he wasn't. So
it sounds to me like you're just really not a Carson Wentz fan. Was that basically your?
He didn't shoot the nail when he was with us, but sometimes it comes down to interceptions.
Well, when they come to your team, I know you're going to investigate him, going to know everything about him. Let's move on to your team. The Washington Commanders 27, the Atlanta Falcons 34. We both had the Commanders in this one. And, I feel like 27 points, that's enough points to win. I was really, really disappointed in Washington's defense. What happened, Felix?
Well, this is a game. Normally, I blame the team's coverage scheme. Now, I feel like they adjusted that as the game went along. So when the Falcons got their passing yards, it wasn't so much they were exploiting our scheme. It was Drake London having a solid game. But what I wanted to say about the Commanders, they did a solid job for what they could without Jaden Daniels, without Terry McLaurin out there, with the backups. Now, for the defensive part, here's my area of concern. You saw number one, you knew who you were going up against with Bijan Robinson. He was able to carry that Falcons team before they developed a pass offense. So the reality was they weren't ready to stop him, and they didn't make any adjustments to stop the run. And quite frankly, you made an okay Falcons team look like a Super Bowl contender in that game. That's how they lost that one.
Well, I don't think the Falcons is a bad football team. Nat Wood says that the Falcons just wasn't going to let a backup quarterback beat them at home, and I don't think the Falcons are a bad team, but I thought this was a game that Washington should have gotten even with their backup Marcus Mariota. I think this is it's a long season, but I think this is a bad win for your Commanders. Let's move on to our next game, the one that I think shocked everyone. The Los Angeles Chargers 18 and the New York G-Men 21. Man, everybody was saying we got to get Jackson Dart. Man, this looked very, very bad for Russ. They bench Russ, they bring in the rookie, and then bam, right away he gets results. I told you guys last week, the problem with Russ is he's not willing to run and get out of the pocket. Jackson Dart came in, and the first thing that you noticed was how fleet and mobile and how he was able to run the ball. What was your take on this game, Felix?
Well, number one, there was that Jackson Dart. He did have a good start to his career, good first win. Congratulations to him. But what really tilted the scale in this game was this one interception that got points for the Giants. And it's really sometimes it just comes down to small plays like that, whether it was a mistake on offense or just a really good play by the defense. It's sometimes just the one play, the turnover that decides the game. And what I think happened, I think the main takeaway is maybe the Chargers were exposed here. Now the Chargers are a good team. Make absolutely no mistake about that. But at the same time, the Chargers can be beaten if you play the right. If you know how, if you play the right scheme against them, you can counter them, and it's really something teams should take note of going on moving forward.
You know, Felix, it's not just a movie. On any given Sunday, these guys are professionals. I mean, look at the Browns last week over the Packers. On any given Sunday, these guys are professionals. You know, we don't. It's almost like I've been hearing all day that the NFL is a week to week league. But what I wanted to say about this game reminds me of, if you remember when Aaron Rodgers came to the Jets, and on the fourth play or something, he blew out his Achilles, and the Jets still won that game, but
Right.
after that, their season went to hell. Well, the Giants just lost Malik Neighbors, probably one of the best receivers in the NFL. Jackson Dart was great addition, but I think losing Malik Neighbors is going to hurt the Giants so badly. What's your thoughts on that, Felix?
I do. So first off, I wish him a speedy recovery, but that injury to Malik Neighbors, you're taking a big part of their offensive arsenal out. And even if it's not him gaining the yards, even if it's not him scoring per se, it's sometimes just the presence. It opens up the playbook for you.
Mhm.
It opens up the defense a little bit for you. Now that that's gone for the Giants, it's an even tougher road ahead for them. So I'm just again, I'm wishing Malik Neighbors a full recovery.
This is a bad win for the Chargers, but Felix, I have to give you credit because all year you've been saying that the Giants are better than what people think.
Right.
You've been saying it all year. Let's move on to our next game. The Titans versus the Texans. Tom the Bomb got this one wrong. I took the Titans in this. The Texans won 26-0. The Texans haven't done anything right all year long. How do you this game was 6-0 in the fourth quarter. And then I mean, really a bad football game to watch. And then you look at the score and it says the Texans 26 and the Titans 0. It sounds like the Texans blew them out, but they really didn't. Man, they don't know how to handle quarterbacks in Tennessee, man. This young kid for the Titans, he's uber talented, but man, he's in trouble. He's in for a long season. What was your take on this game? 26-20. You took the Texans. I think I took the Titans.
Now, here's the thing I noticed about the Texans. I know that this is a talented but underachieving team. And I looked at the Titans and I thought to myself, the fact of the matter is the Texans lost two back-to-back games that against opponents that they could have beaten. And they're going up against the Titans team that, although they have some promise, I know they're better than the Titans. And I know if they're going to drop 3 games in a row, it's not going to be to Tennessee. And again, to your point, Cam Ward, talented quarterback, but the sad thing is that a lot of talented players can't get past their circumstances. And
Right,
we've seen players that, and to be quick, I mean, we've seen this with players who turned out to be Hall of Famers later on in their career, but sometimes the first year didn't go quite right because of where they were.
Baker Mayfield. Yep. Philadelphia. Let's move on to our next game. We had the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we talked about this game. You took the Bucks. I took the Eagles, and I wanted to take the Bucks, but Mike Evans was out. The Eagles won 31-23, but this was a game right down to the end. What Baker has been doing all for the first 3 weeks, you know, that was a bad interception that Baker threw on first down with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. But I thought Baker was bringing them back, man. I thought the Bucks still could have won this game. The Eagles, there's turmoil in Philadelphia, but they're 4-0. The Eagles aren't playing well, and they're 4-0. You know, you got their diva wide receiver, and he's making all kind of trouble, and they're 4-0. What's your take on this game?
Troy's joining us.
It was essentially a game which Philadelphia, despite the fact that their stats weren't there, despite the fact that, yes, you do look at Jalen Hurts, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't get a single passing yard in the second half. You have to remember that this is a well-oiled machine from top to bottom. This is just a good team. If Jalen Hurts is not going to get the yards, it's going to be Saquon Barkley. And I think Saquon's the true strength of that team. And if it's not the offense, the defense can hold the opposing offense at bay. Even if they're as good as Tampa, even if they're as good as Tampa. So that's pretty much what you saw in this one. And yes, again, Tampa's a good football team, but they went up against another one that's stronger than what people know it for.
Hey, Felix, Troy is joining us. Troy, we're talking about the Eagles and the Buccaneers game. The Eagles 31-23. What's your take with the Eagles and the Bucks, Troy?
What's up, Troy?
Good to hear from y'all.
Oh.
One thing I'll say is, Philly, they're built to win in any situation. They can go up early and then finish the game off by being conservative, or if they need to put points on you, they'll put points on you. I feel bad for guys like A.J. Brown and, Devontae Smith, really, because this scheme doesn't necessarily highlight, their greatness and what they can do week in and week out. But nevertheless, them dudes 4-0, dog.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, they're not playing well, and they're still 4-0.
Yep. And, here's my thing. The Chiefs were like that for a good minute.
That's right.
They won a bunch of games in the past that they had no business winning.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the Philadelphia Eagles didn't have business winning this game because, shoot, they was up big going into the second half. And then Baker Mayfield got hot. But one thing I'll say is that it don't look good, but it's effective. And as long as you can finish what Jalen Hurts has shown that he can do in this system, all I want to do is see a W at the end of the game.
There you go. That's Troy. That's one of my favorite terms in sports. Ugly but effective. I'll take ugly but effective. Let's move on to our next game. We had the Carolina Panthers 13 versus the Patriots 42. Tom LeBon nailed this one with the Patriots. Who did Felix have? He had the Patriots also?
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
I'm sorry. What was your take on this game? Panthers?
You had the Patriots.
We both had the Patriots. What did you guys take on this game? Patriots and the Panthers.
Go ahead, Felix.
Yeah, it was the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The Panthers won 30-0 last week. I told you that was fool's gold, man. There was no way they was going, man. But the Patriots putting up 42, that's impressive. What did you guys think?
Man, look,
Go ahead, Coach Troy.
I was going to say, man, look, I've been telling y'all since the beginning of preseason that Drake May looked official. Now, Stephon Diggs has started out slow this season up until this game. He finally got him more than 7 targets. And in doing so, he gets 100 yards receiving. Didn't get in the end zone, but nevertheless, their number one receiver did number one receiver things. And I'm liking the fact that this team is starting to balance out from not just being a running team, but also being a team that can put up 250 yards plus every single game. Drake May's only going to get better. Mike Vrabel's going to get more and more comfortable the more games he coaches. They're going to be a shocker team going to the playoffs this year. Well, getting to the playoffs, I mean.
Felix, you want to close that out?
Right. And I think he pretty much hit the nail on the head right there. This Patriots team, they're not quite. Well, the thing is, they're getting there little by little. And yes, Drake May, he's a talented quarterback. You give him a receiver such as Diggs. And again, once the Patriots get into a rhythm, build around it, they're going to start being a competitive team. They're going to start being in the playoff picture sooner than later.
Hey, let's move on to our next game. Listen, the Bills versus the Saints. The Bills won 31-19, but like we were talking about, this is still the NFL and on any given Sunday. And man, the Saints, the Bills had trouble with the Saints, and the Saints, like I said, they're still professionals. The Bills are 4-0. They won 31-19, but they struggled in this game. What's you guys take on this one?
I would say that the Saints, they have still a lot of soul searching to do. They don't know who their quarterback's going to be for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Spencer Ryder, I feel like, is the fill-in, but not the long-term solution. And, ultimately, when it comes to winning games that you ain't supposed to be winning, I'm not going to say that they don't have camaraderie, but it's still building. It's not a lot of trust in that building for what it looks like. But the Saints always got good defense. Cam Jordan's still Cam Jordan. Defense around him still, does pretty well. But, you're playing the Bills, man. You're not supposed to win that game.
Well, Troy, I've been saying all year that the Saints should have drafted Shedeur Sanders. That's where Shedeur Sanders really should have ended up with New Orleans. Felix, what's your take on this one?
So I would say with this game, it was basically just Bills football. If you just look at the score on offense, now the Saints did have some bright spots there, but I think the game practically ended the way we all saw it. We kind of all saw it coming, when we saw the Bills versus Saints matched up, and that was what happened on the scoreboard.
Okay, I went a little bit past my game. All right, let's get to the next one. Uh,
Browns versus Lions.
okay, the Browns versus the Lions. The Browns came off this great win against the Packers, but we all know what we saw against the Lions, 31-10, and we both took the Lions in this one. What was your take on this game? Go ahead, stop it. What was you guys' take on the Browns and the Lions?
I say, the Browns ain't built to score more than 21 points. They can do it every once in a while, but once Detroit start putting points on them, they're not built to come from behind and win a game. They gotta take the momentum quicker if they're going to plan on winning the game like that. Detroit's just a better team.
Listen, let me ask you guys this question real quick. The Giants made the switch going to Jackson over Russell. How long before we see Shador in Cleveland?
Not this year.
Not this year? Okay, what's your thoughts, Felix?
Can you repeat the question?
I said, Jackson. The Giants made the switch with Jackson Dart. What's your take? How long before we see Shador Sanders in Cleveland? Troy says not this year. What's your take?
Oh, I think it happens sometime this year. Maybe not. I don't think it's immediate, but I think that the need for a change is going to be obvious. I'd say if the Browns know what they're doing now, if it goes down to what you didn't mention something earlier on about the Browns' motivations, ulterior motives. If that's the case, it would be a very bad look for them to switch from him this year. So I actually see where he's coming from.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Hey man, the Lions are cooking now, aren't they?
Yeah, they look good. They're finding their footing. To go more into that question that you just asked, I'm not going to take too much time, but to go more into that, they drafted Shador for ticket sales. They didn't draft him with intentions to actually play him, and I stand by that pretty strong because nobody's expecting Dylan Gabriel to come in after they go 1-5 to then get them into a playoff hunt. So they're going to stick with that rookie and give him as much experience as possible going into the next year. Unless the only way, in my opinion, that Shador Sanders plays is if Dylan Gabriel gets hurt. Mm-hmm. If he don't get hurt, no matter how bad he plays, they're not going to bench him.
Okay, all right, I could buy that. Let's go to our next game. Listen, Felix, you took the Jaguars over my 49ers. The Jags won 26-21. 49ers had turnovers. Look, couple of questions. First of all, I have no confidence in Trevor Lawrence, none. But this Jaguars defense looks like it's real. What's the deal, guys?
Yeah, I'd say the Jaguars, they're a team that, again, they're underperforming, but the talent is there. And again, as a guy who grew up watching Washington his whole life, I know what it's like to have a team that has talent, but they show up as 5-11 almost every year. So I actually kind of get it. So I just knew it was one of those games where that team is going to get one over on the team that's supposed to be better, or so at least we perceive them as better, or you think they're going to win or lose. You just know when it's going to happen. That's really why I picked Jacksonville there.
Troy, tell us about this Jaguars defense, man.
I was going to talk about the offense.
Well, talk about the offense. Go ahead and talk about the offense first.
Their team, offense, defense, teams, they got speed. They got speed, and they playing with heart. One thing that I'll say is that a team that isn't projected to do too well, like you said, you don't really believe too much in Trevor Lawrence. I'm looking at Travis Etienne and thinking, this guy's the X factor for this squad. If Travis Etienne gets you close to 100 yards rushing almost every game, gets you in a position where you're not getting stalled out on third downs, giving his quarterback a good safety valve option on early downs and even third downs. Man, look, Travis Etienne is the X factor for that squad. And he's playing well. They're getting a good rhythm running the ball. It's opening up things. Defense is feeding off of that energy. They're playing as a squad. And they got a kicker that's coming in and just drilling everything when he gets out on the field. So top to bottom, they're gelling, and they have a good chemistry with one another.
Well, you guys both know the Niners are my team. But for the second time this year, the Jags run a punt back, an 80-plus yard core touchdown. These special teams in NFL are coming up big. We're seeing block kicks and block field goals and kickoff returns. I thought that punt return was the thing that broke my 49ers back. The Jaguars defense looks real to me, man.
Yes. Okay. That guy that came from San Francisco, that
Armstead.
Armstead. That's a big move, dog.
Yeah.
That's a big body. That's someone that got experience. Armstead. That's a big body, someone that has experience. And like I said, momentum.
Okay, let's talk about the game that I really wanted. I knew it was going to be one of the best games: the Indianapolis Colts and the LA Rams. And look, this one I'm upset about because I took the Colts, and the Colts should have won this game. And I want to talk about the ninja, John A. Mitchell. Listen, if I was on a team, I would tell everyone on the team, if you celebrate before you get into the end zone, I don't care if you still get the touchdown, I'm fining you $50,000. What Donnie Mitchell did in this game, losing that ball going into the end zone, of course, and then he turned around and had a holding call on Jonathan Taylor 53-yard touchdown run at the end of the game that also would have won it. This guy by himself took 14 points off the board, and the Colts lose to the Rams 20-27. What you guys take on this one?
He's young, man. They made a dumb mistake. He'll learn from it. The Colts are still in a good position. They're playing way better than everybody anticipated them playing up until the start of the season. The Rams are a playoff team. They have playoff caliber. They were literally a Tutu Atwell bomb away from, being able to try to make more of the game. But the Colts are phenomenal. The Colts look really good. Just a young, dumb mistake by the receiver.
I watched this game, man. They outplayed the Rams. Felix, what's your take?
I agree. And it goes back to what I say about the sport of football. Sometimes and it is so cliche. We hear it a million times. Sometimes the team with the fewest mistakes wins the game. All it takes is a penalty at the wrong time, turnover, fumble at the wrong time. That's what turns the tide, especially again when you're talking about a game between two teams, caliber teams playing their best football like the Colts and Rams. So yeah.
Listen, guys, you guys know on the Tom the Bomb show, we always say, don't bet on NFL football. Can you imagine if you had a ton of money on the Colts and this guy fumbles the ball through the end zone on a touchdown? Can you imagine how you would have lost your mind if you had a ton of money on this game? What you guys thoughts on that?
Money pretty often, but I came up this week, so I'm good. But trust me, I know the feeling.
You got to stop betting on.
Hey, well, I want $130 off $5.
All right. Well, Felix, close us out on this game. You took the Rams on me. I took the Colts. Do you really think the Rams were going to win? Because they got outplayed.
Number one, I did. But number two, on your whole point about betting in sports, I think I sent you a video one time. There was a college football team that blew out another college football team. Literally, the team that lost, all they had to do was score one touchdown. That completely shifted the spread. So the people who betted on the winning team didn't get their payback. Like, there are just so many reasons not to bet on sports. And I just don't get how it's such a large market right now.
Let's get to our next game. We got the Chicago Bears versus the Raiders. Tom the Bomb took the Raiders. The Bears win 25-24. The Raiders should have won this one. Ashton Jenney looked good. Troy, what was your take on this game?
Caleb Williams is getting better and better each week. Him with that coordinator that came from Detroit as his head coach now.
Ben Johnson.
They need to make sure that they just continue to build off the chemistry because Roma Dunze is feeding off of it. And the rest of the team is feeding off the energy as well. So the offense starts to look good. We might see our first 4,000-yard passer in Chicago Bear history this year.
How about it, Felix? You took the Bears over the Raiders. What was you saying?
Yes, I agree. And again, it goes back to what we look at with the Bears. Caleb Williams is actually a solid player. The fact of the matter is, I looked at the Raiders team. I didn't really see them stopping Caleb Williams, and also I looked at the Raiders offense, and there's some strength there. And they gave the Bears a good game. This was really one of the best games from the Sunday slate. But at the same time, yes. I mean, it just happened to be the Bears that emerged on top. And I do think, generally speaking, the Bears were the better team. The better team prevailed.
I disagree, Felix. This was like the Colts and the Rams game. The Raiders listen, the Bears blocked the field goal at the end of the game to win. I mean, they won 25-24, and they blocked the field goal at the end of the game to win. The Eagles, again, blocked another field goal against Tampa Bay. What's going on with these blocked field goals, guys?
One team won it more than the other.
Man, you know what, man? You know what? Last year, or the last few years, when Kansas City needed to do something to win a game, like block a field goal, they would block a field goal. That's what I see the Eagles doing this year. Whatever it takes, the Eagles seem to be doing it to get it done. The Raiders, Felix, I disagree with you. The Raiders outplayed the Bears. the same way the Colts outplayed the Rams, and they still lost. That's why you shouldn't be betting on this football.
And you both picked the Raiders.
And we both had the Raiders. Oh, okay. Felix had the Raiders also. I thought you had the Bears. Okay.
Wait, I had the Raiders?
Yeah, you had the Raiders.
You both picked the Raiders.
Dr. Lawrence said you picked the Raiders. Okay. If she wrote it down, that's who you picked, bro. Let's get to the big game. The Baltimore Ravens and Mother Wiggs Kansas City Chiefs. Listen, man, the Chiefs prevailed 37-20. This game was not close. This game was not close. You guys help me out. Just go with Troy. Troy, I don't know what to expect from the Ravens. What's going on, Troy?
It's not tough stuff, dog. You know, it's hard to come out and be effective when you got to go against heavy hitters in the first 4 weeks. But one thing I'll say is that Derrick Henry fumbling changes the whole perspective of this conversation. You know, the Chiefs have business beating the Baltimore Ravens. It's not a fluke that the Chiefs won. It's how they won. They're not supposed to get blown out. I haven't seen the Ravens get blown out like that in a very long time. Be able to give up that amount of points in the past 4 weeks is uncharacteristic. But, you know, they choking in clutch time. Choking clutch time, record reflects off of it.
Well, let me say this. Let me interject this. To the Chiefs' credit, they've been fighting with one arm behind their back. They got Worthy back, and then their other receivers are coming back in week 6. Patrick hasn't had it like for the last 3 weeks, Troy. Patrick has been throwing passes to Felix and Tom. You know, I mean, that's who's been at the receiver position for Kansas City. But they got Worthy back, and he brought some explosiveness. We haven't seen the Chiefs be explosive. They looked explosive again with Worthy. Felix, what's your take on this game?
Right. So I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head, but I'd take it a step further with the Ravens offense. Now, this doesn't really explain the Ravens offense being as stagnant as they were. Now, we do look at Lamar Jackson, highest quarterback rating of all time. We already know he's a threat on his feet, but I'm just looking at another case where the Ravens they're either playing elite football or they have the game like that. I really, again, the Chiefs having their wide receivers back, that explains why the Chiefs scored so many points. That explains why the Chiefs played like it's 2018 again. But at the same time, it does not really account for what's going on with Baltimore. So I think they need to get things together over there in terms of how they're managing things with Lamar. But on a second note, the Ravens defense has also had some problems. And I've kind of noticed, especially with their secondary now, they really can't stop pass offenses. That's something I've come to notice. So
no sense to me. Which makes no sense considering you wouldn't go get Jair Alexander. You got Marlon Humphrey. You draft the safety out of Georgia, Malachi Starks, in the first round. You got all these guys. You got Kyle Hamilton, who just got paid. And this is the worst scoring defense from a statistical standpoint in Ravens history. Doesn't add up.
How serious is Lamar Jackson's injury?
Scale on 1 to 10, I'll say about an 8.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, ultimately, with him, I still think he's going to be effective even without him being the same running threat. It's just, you know, as a team, their morale is down. So they just got to find a way to find something to, you know, look forward to going forward. Right now, it's a lot of gray skies.
Felix, are the Ravens dead in the water without Lamar Jackson?
Yes.
That's why you're the best side man in the business. Yes. Let's move on to our next game. We have a guest in the studio, Mr. Jerry Jones. Yeah, I thought we were gonna be better with Michael. We didn't feel like he's worth all that money. Dak was indispensable, and we're gonna have to see if Micah was worth all that money. We saw our tie last night. Packers 40, Cowboys 40. Felix, we thought that the Packers were gonna get boat raced in this game, and the Cowgirls looked good, man. What would you guys take?
Well, I think that was a game in which you saw what the Cowboys offense is capable of. You saw obviously what the Packers can do on offense, but I think what was exposed, number one, you can argue, okay, the Packers, they have a solid defense. That's without question. But now you have to raise some questions. Hey, what are some weaknesses in your past defense? Though that's a question you can raise. But again, I think this just highlights the fact that the Cowboys, goes back to what I say, the Cowboys are a better team than what people do give them credit for, and I think they proved just that in last night's game.
Troy, George Pickens is making himself some money in the offseason. What was your take on this game?
They finally gave him a jump ball. They finally, gave that man a route and gave that man an opportunity to do what they paid him for. You don't have George Pickens come in and then not give him a shot or two a game. Man, look, he's a rocket in a bottle. He's gonna make the great play and he's gonna drop the easy one. It just is what it is. It's inevitable. But they're getting rhythm. They're finding ways to get things going. I love Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams. I'm super shocked about how well that they control the ball in their running scheme. When the Dallas Cowboys play well, going back to their Super Bowl runs in the 90s, going back to 2014, with a rookie Ezekiel Elliott, they ran the football. And now they're starting to develop an identity to do so more effectively. But nobody thought that game was going to be as close as it was. I still thought Green Bay was going to hit it. So
yeah. Okay, explain this one to me. Explain this to me. We saw, we saw the Packers shut down what I think is the most high-powered offense in the NFL in the Detroit Lions, and then I saw them confuse Jaden Daniels when I haven't seen Jaden Daniels be confused all year long. And now all of a sudden they can't. They give up 40 points against the Cowboys. Now I know the Cowboys have a good offense, but what's going on with the Packers defense? How does the Packers give up 40?
Because everybody played out their mind knowing that they was going against Michael Parsons. When you got a game circle and it means more than just the outcome of the game, everybody plays better than what they usually do. When guys go up against the best in the business, it's either you bring your A game or you're gonna get destroyed. And they literally made a point of emphasis. The offensive coordinator, most of the plays he called run play, pass play. Even if it was a pass, they made sure they had an extra guy helping out on number one on the opposite side. So they made a point of emphasis to slow him down and to get rhythm going on the opposite side.
Whatever happens, we not gonna let Micah beat us. Felix, what's your take? Felix, what's your take? What's your take on this one?
Right. So again, it was just another game where, yes, the Cowboys, they just proved, hey, we're better than what people realize, and that came out on display. Now, again, you did say something about the Packers defense. They were dominant against Washington. Now, I have my own theories for why Washington didn't do well in that game, and they were dominant against Detroit. Now, Detroit was just completely flabbergasted in that one. But again, I think this is just a one-off situation. I don't think you're going to see the Packers get blown up like this by an opposing offense again this year.
Dak is playing out of his mind. What do you guys think about Dak?
He always is.
He just had bad things happen at the wrong time. Before he got hurt a couple years ago, he was in the MVP candidate conversation. And he's doing it without CeeDee Lamb. They put up 40 points without their best player on their team. So I'm looking at that as just keep running the rock, keep taking pressure off of Dak, and Dak is going to perform the best to his capable ability. The day that you put 40 pass attempts with Dak, and you take away the running scheme, they're going to go back to being scrubs. But now they're finding the balance and taking pressure off of that guy. He's performing better.
All right, let's get to our picks. Let's start with the Monday night games. We locking you in on this one too, Troy. Okay, at 7:00 we got the Jets versus the Dolphins. Tom the Bomb is taking the Jets in this game. Who do you like, Felix?
I'm actually going to go with the Dolphins.
Okay. Troy, who do you like?
Miami.
All right, they're both against me. Then in the second Monday night game, we got the Cincinnati Bengals against the Broncos. Tom the Bomb is taking the Broncos hands down. Who do you like, Felix?
Broncos.
Troy?
Yeah, Denver. J.K. Dobbins going to have a big game.
Okay, let's get to our week 5 picks. The Thursday night game, which is going to be a really good game. Brock Purdy's not going to play. We got the 49ers versus the Rams. And you guys know Tom the Bomb is a 49er fan, but I'm taking the Rams. 49ers. Okay, all righty. Troy's taking the 49ers. That's Thursday, October 2nd, 8:15 p.m. Then we got back overseas again. The Vikings are still over there. The Vikings take on the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to take the Browns in this game, guys. Felix, who do you like?
I'm actually going to go with the Vikings.
Okay. Troy, who do you like? Vikings or the Browns?
I like Minnesota.
Minnesota. All righty. All right. Let's come back to the States. We got James, Las Vegas Raiders versus the Indianapolis Colts. I'm really, really impressed with the Colts. I'm taking the Colts. Who do you like, Felix?
Colts.
Troy?
I'm gonna say an upset. I'm gonna say the Raiders.
Raiders are not a bad football team, guys. They outplayed the Bears. I'm telling you, they outplayed them. I should have been right on that one.
So who are you taking? The Raiders or the Colts?
Troy's taking the Raiders.
Right.
Felix is taking the Colts along with Tom the Bomb.
Okay.
Then we got the New York G-Man versus the Saints. Tom the Bomb likes Jackson Dart. I'm going with the G-Man. Felix?
Oh, that's actually a tough one. I think the Saints might win that one.
Troy, who do you like?
Saints.
Saints, okay. Then we got the Cowgirls versus the Jets. Tom the Bomb is going to take the Cowboys in this one. Troy, Felix, who do you like?
Well, you said Dallas versus who?
The New York Jets. Felix, who do you like?
Dallas.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys would win that one.
Okay, we're all taking Dallas on that one.
Yeah.
All right, then we got the Denver Broncos versus the Philadelphia Eagles. You got to take the Eagles every week until somebody beats them. I'm taking the Eagles. Who do you like, Felix?
I think the Broncos could surprise them.
Are you taking the Broncos, or you just think the Broncos can surprise them?
Broncos.
Felix is taking the Broncos. Who do you like, Troy? Philly. Okay. Then we got the Miami Dolphins versus the Carolina Panthers. Tom the Bomb is going to take the Dolphins in this one.
Carolina.
Okay. Felix?
I'm going to go. Who's the home team?
Dolphins versus the Panthers.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
What'd you say, Troy?
No, I said I think Miami's the home team.
Okay.
No, Panthers are the home team. It's Dolphins versus the Panthers.
Okay, so I'm taking it. Tom's taking the Dolphins. Felix is taking the.
I'll stick with the Dolphins.
Dolphins. Yeah. And who do you like, Troy? Panthers. All right. Then we got the Texans versus the Ravens. This game scares me. Felix, you're going first. Who are you taking, the Texans or the Ravens?
If Lamar's out, that's Texans.
Texans. Oh, okay. You got to pick one, pal.
He said.
Yeah, Texans.
Okay, Troy. Okay, Texans or the Ravens?
Baltimore.
Okay, I'm taking the Ravens as well, even without Lamar. Then we got the Titans versus the Arizona Cardinals. Tom the Bomb's taking the Cardinals. Who do you like, Felix?
I'm going to go Cardinals.
Troy?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. All right. No, we got this is going to be a great game. We got the Tampa Bay Bucks versus the Seattle Seahawks. I'm taking the Bucks in this one. Who you like, Felix?
Buccaneers.
Troy?
Bucks.
Bucks. Okay. The Detroit Lions versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Tom the Bomb's taking the Lions. Who do you like, Felix?
Lions.
Troy?
30.
Lions by 30. All righty. Here's the fun one. I got both of you guys. I thought this is a total setup. We got the Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels will be back versus the LA Chargers. Felix, who do you like, Commanders or the Chargers?
Unbiased opinion, Commanders.
All righty, you're okay. Troy, Commanders or Chargers?
Chargers.
Chargers. Oh, it's gonna snow. Wait a minute. Are you sure, Troy?
Yeah, I'm sure. The Chargers had no business losing to the Giants.
They didn't.
This week, and they're gonna find a way. That team is too well coached to lose 2 games in a row. The Chargers are a better team than my Commanders. Chargers.
You know, yeah, it's definitely going to snow because I agree with Troy. You guys better get y'all snow boots out because September 29th and Tom the Bomb and Troy is in total agreement. I knew Felix was taking the Commanders. All right, then we got the Patriots versus the Bills. And we talked about this before, Felix. This is an interconference game. And I think it's really easy to just say the Bills. But this is going to be a tough game. But I think the Bills are kind of like the Eagles. You got to take the Bills until somebody beats them. So Tom the Bomb is going to take the Bills. But I think it's going to be a good game. Who do you like, Felix?
Oh, the Bills.
The Bills? Well, he just went right. That's why you're the best side man in the business. Troy, who do you like?
Buffalo.
Buffalo. Okay. All righty. And then we'll get to the Monday night games next week. Which, you know what? Let's talk real quick about this. Next Monday night, we got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Jaguars. We're going to find out if the Jaguars are for real because I think Mother Wig's Chiefs are hitting their stride. And, I think people were writing the Chiefs off way too soon and way too early. I think the one thing that I'm really starting to understand, and Gus says this all the time, it's too early in the season to be making any concrete type of predictions. And to think that the Chiefs are out and not going to win the West, I'm just not buying that right now. So this will be an interesting game. What are you guys thinking about this Monday night game against the Chiefs and the Jaguars?
They're getting healthy.
Yes.
The Chiefs have not had a healthy offense in like a couple years. Now they're starting to find their stride. All they're missing is Rashee Rice. Once Rashee Rice comes back from that suspension, they're going to be back to scoring 30-plus points a game.
Okay. Felix, what's your thoughts?
Excuse me?
What's your thoughts on this game, the Chiefs and the Jaguars next Monday night?
Oh, yeah, Chiefs, Jaguars. I'm definitely going with the Chiefs on that one.
Okay, we're going to pick it next week. I was just wanted to get your thoughts on the game.
Oh, yeah, definitely what Troy said it best. I mean, again, he put it down. He put it down like this: the Chiefs were not playing with full deck, and quite frankly, as more players come back, as more of their offensive arsenal comes back, you're going to see more and more of the Chiefs we've come accustomed to seeing. So, I agree with him.
All righty. Hey, gang, let's get to our trivia question. You just in time for the trivia. Here's the trivia question, Troy. The trivia question today is: what player has scored the most Ryder Cup points in Ryder Cup history? Troy, you want to take a shot at this?
I don't know, man.
Okay, Felix, you want to take a guess at all? I know you guys aren't the golf gurus like I am, but well, take a guess. Take a guess, Troy. Who do you think has the most Ryder Cup points in Ryder Cup history?
I would say
Stop it right there.
Tiger. I don't know. Davis Love. I don't know.
Davis Love. Okay, you want to take a guess, Felix?
So can you give me a decade or no?
No, I'm not giving you the exact. You take a shot or you don't.
Okay. I'm going to say Arnold Palmer.
That's not a bad guess. Really, really not. The correct answer is Sergio Garcia.
Yeah, I would have never gotten that.
Sergio, well, think about it.
I would never guess that.
Sergio Garcia has 28 and a half points but listen to this. He has 10 Ryder Cup appearances. Think about that. He made his Ryder Cup debut in 1999 and represented Europe for 2 decades. Number 2 on the list is Nick Faldo with 25 points. Number 3 on the list is Bernhard Longa with 24. He's tied with Lee Westwood at 24. And then Colin Montgomery has 23 and a half points. So the correct answer is Sergio Garcia with 20 and a half points. Almost 28 and a half points. Almost 30 points. Hey, gang, that's our show for today. Listen, don't forget to like and subscribe us on YouTube and hit that like bell, please. If you're enjoying the content and you'd like to bless our ministry, which Dr. Lauren and I would definitely appreciate, you can sow into the Tom the Bomb Sports Talk by cash apping us at $ Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. That's $ Tom the Bomb Sports Talk. And don't forget to check out our website at www.tomthebombsports.com. You can also email us at info@tomthebombsports.com. Hey, for a dynamic and in-depth sports analysis and highlights for sports in the DMV and more, check out the Washington Sports Den on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on WBGR with my main man, Mr. Felix Bassey. His future's so bright, he gotta wear shades. Man, time flies when you're having fun. We're out of time here, but we sure do thank you for spending your time with us. We do not take that for granted. Listen, may the gates of heaven open and pour out an abundance of blessings down on you that there won't be room enough to receive it as you live off the overflow and step boldly into the realm of grace. Remember, if you want it, you got to confess it with your mouth and believe it in your heart that Jesus died on the cross and that he rose on the third day, not necessarily a Thursday, just for you. Just for you. He leave the 99 just to come find the one. Hey, Game Tannenbaum wants to leave you with a thought today. Duct tape may patch a lot of things, but 3 nails fixed everything. Remember, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. They got to figure that out at the Ryder Cup. Listen, we want to thank our guest, Mr. Felix Bassi, as usual. And then, of course, thank you, Troy, for joining us, Troy.
Oh, for sure. Thanks for having me.
Everybody's always happy when you come back on the show. Felix, phenomenal job as usual. I love it when you two guys are together because all I have to do is sit back and listen. I can just kind of be the moderator.
Can I say one thing real quick?
You can say more than one thing if you like, bro.
Cool. Felix, you're awesome, bro. I want to say thank you for taking on responsibility outside of what you do already to help my father and help my family out. I appreciate you dearly, bro. And everything that you doing is very inspiring to not just me, but to a lot of people that listen in. And I just want you to keep doing what you're doing, dog. You're awesome. I just wanted to say that.
Thanks. That means a lot coming from you. Thanks.
Oh man, I'm tearing up over here. These are my 2 favorite guys. You know, if I could trade Troy in, it'd be for Felix. But you guys know how much I love him. But these are 2 of my very, very favorite guys. They're both very well knowledgeable. 2 fine young men. So thanks, guys, for joining us. You guys have a great week. You know, time to bomb out. Good night, guys. Thanks.
This is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
Well, I'm coming out with a word in my mouth, filled with excitement to say what it's all about. For a long time, I've held this water in, let the floodgates open, let the miracles begin. I've prayed, and I've gone back 7 times, look again, cause the miracles are mine, stir the water. I'm about to step in like the pool of Bethesda, let the healing begin.
Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine. Daughter of mine, this is your time, and you gon' shine, and you gon' shine.
It took a minute to get my composure right. For years it seems like I've been fighting for my life. Confusing times when my days resemble nights. But now this eagle is about to take flight. I soar out of darkness to his revelation light. Though the waves are rough, I step out my comfort zone to walk on water, cause I know I'm not alone. God's got my back and reminds me I'm his own. His words are sweet in my mouth, they taste like a honeycomb. And faith has opened up my eyes. I've been through the fire, tested and tried. As I study God's word, I finally realize that my purpose to visualize, to bring the unseen from the realm of under night until I walk into the fullness of a purpose-filled life, cause I'm light. Yes, I am light, and I shine bright. I am an investment of the Lord Jesus Christ. Not only am I light, I am salt. When I enter in, I add flavor to it all. I bring truth, there's no dispute. Jesus is the vine, and in him I take root. I am the head, and not the tail. I'm an overcomer made free to prevail. A new design, a special kind, ambassador followed by wonders and signs. I am light,